a Leon County Circuit judge, is allowing Governor DeSantis' redrawn congressional map to remain in place while 3 legal challenges proceed. The map drawn by a governor's office would shift Florida's congressional delegation from 20 Republicans and 7 Democrats to 24 Republicans and just 4 Democrats. It faces a fundamental legal question. In 2010, nearly 63% of Florida voters approved a constitutional amendment banning partisan gerrymandering. It's called the Florida Fair Districts Amendment. The state now argues that that standard no longer applies. The case is expected to reach the Florida Supreme Court, where 6 of the 7 justices have been appointed by Governor DeSantis. Victor, you were saying earlier that this court decision does not come as a surprise to you, no. And you said that the real test will come in the higher courts. Explain that to our viewers.
Well, because you have, because it's a state law that you're questioning or state constitution, and you don't necessarily take this to the federal court system, which I've done a lot of election law cases through the federal court system. This is a state law, a state constitutional amendment, which I personally worked very closely with the late Governor Bob Graham on passing, hoping for future generations that this would provide fairness in the redistricting process. I never dreamed that the Republicans would figure out a way to get around it, but they did. Actually, the U.S. Supreme Court, who struck down the Voting Rights Act part of not gerrymandering
and other
districts.
States in the country have also done changes in their congressional maps to favor the Democratic Party. So both parties have been doing this.
Why are we here? We're here because President Donald Trump said he realizes that the legislature in Washington, D.C., the House, has they have like a 3-person majority out of 400 some voters. So he went to Texas and said, hey, give me some more Republicans. So they chopped up their district to make more Republican districts. And then that started Armageddon all along the country. So now everybody's started out, your former state, California, when it's okay, you want to do it in Texas, California, we're going to have more Democrats. So we're just the latest, Florida became the latest battleground to my Marine friend here, and in this war of who can have more Republicans or Democrats districts. So in this case, I think some of these districts are going to backfire. I looked at the Kathy Castor district here in Tampa, where she took her district and split it 3 ways. I think she could win that district. I live in West Tampa, just down the street. Actually, we're in West Tampa, and now Bill Arrakis from Tarpon Springs is now my new representative. So I mean, some of these districts are crazy, and I think they're going to backfire in many respects. Now, in a week or so, the first week of June is qualifying for every office in the state. So there's no time. And they do this on purpose to go to court. You got to start at the district court level, then you go to the district appeals court, then you go to the Supreme Court. There's no time between now. Right, they can't do it.
I'd like to turn to Dr. Tankersley. What does this tell us about how aggressive redistricting could impact voter trust or engagement, civic engagement?
Yeah, there's a lot of political science research in this area, and there is a definite feedback loop between redistricting and political structures and civic engagement, right? So this becomes not just a legal issue, it's a civic health issue. And what we see is that when we have rapid changes or we have many changes over a short period of time, we see voter disengagement. And that's logical, because if you think about it, voting has a cost, and some of it is intellectual and it's research, right? So it's not a tangible cost, but it is a cost, right, imposed on the voter to make a decision. In this case, what we're talking about are voters who, they know what their district is, they know their precinct, they know where to go vote, they know the personalities who have been involved in local politics, and all of a sudden that shifts and that changes. And so now they have to learn new things. They have to learn, what is my district? What precinct am I in? Where do I go to vote? And the cast of characters who are involved in elections may change, right? So all of that is an intellectual and psychological cost on the voter. And a lot of times when that happens, voters simply say, you know what, I'm going to sit this out until things stabilize, right? So you have civic disengagement on the part of people, not just in voting, but also in participating in other meaningful ways in the political process, from contacting representatives to going to community meetings. And so again, it really is a matter of civic health, not just a legal issue.
And John, I'd like to ask you about the national implications of this. Do you think that that is maybe repeat it nationally.
No, I would agree with it. Would repeat it nationally. And a constitutional scholar, a guy named Jonathan Turley, mentioned this. He's from George Washington University. He's appalled by the partisanship when it comes to gerrymander. Both parties do it. I think Victor laid it out fairly well. I think it depends how this plays out, it could benefit more Republicans because they had, in the states they're from, there were more give to gain more seats. Democrats have done this for years. You go to Illinois, the home state I came from in California, before they did it with Gavin Newsom, has already been kind of redistricted out.
Right.
You look at Illinois, one of their things just kind of goes down the state, and it just doesn't make sense. Massachusetts has no Republicans representation.
Well, I would disagree with one part of that. And we just had a proof of what just happened here just recently. We elected a Democratic senator in this area, right where we're sitting near this studio, where the Republicans spent $3 million to win a Senate seat, and the Democrat had $100,000 in the bank. And who won? The Democrat. It just shows you how immensely unpopular Donald Trump is right now, polling below 30%. So, look, the Democrats only needed like 3 or 4 seats to take over the House. We predict anywhere from 30 to 50 seats could flip in this election. So it doesn't matter what redistricting happens. The Democrats are definitely, you could take it to the bank, going to win the House back. I don't know about the Senate yet, but I disagree with that point about the Republicans being very popular.
Well, we shall see where the
That's what I
numbers
predict.
land.